Hello everyone, this is Ariana. Today a video on how to heal this boss concerning Sludgefist, the 8th boss of Castle Nathria in Mythic difficulty. This isn't going to be a strategy guide, but a preparation as a healer. I will first name every important spell you need to be aware of as a healer, and then we will do a walkthrough the first skill we did with my guild. Let's get into it. The first important ability is the Colossal Roar. This is a moderate raid 1 damage. The boss will push you back while doing this ability. He has a cast time, so you can anticipate the damage. And while you're getting pushed back, you can still cast. That's very important. While you are pushed back, you can still cast. You can also go against the pushback. The second ability is Seismic Shift. This is also a moderate raid-wide damage. The purpose of this specific ability is to maintain your entire raid spread out, which is obviously a contradict with the other ability, which is the Chain. The third ability is the Chain Slam. This is a targeted heavy damage. So basically, the boss will target one player amongst the two furthest group from him. He will drop a chain on one of them, and he will drag the guy towards him. Obviously, the point here is to soak it. The damage will get split by the amount of people in it. What's interesting with this ability is that it has been nerfed since we killed it. During the kill, we had to force basically immunities through it, so we got 4 guys going in using turtles or that kind of thing, personals, while they are getting dragged, because the dot you got after you got Chain Slam was insanely strong. Now it got nerfed by 35%, if I remember correctly. So you can basically soak it, not randomly, but you can soak each instead of basically killing the targeted player on the third and fourth Chain Slam. You will see it during the walkthrough. I don't think you need to do it right now. The fourth ability is the Gaze. The Gaze is basically when the boss will destroy a pillar. When he will do so, he will do a heavy red-white damage. You will probably need a cooldown on each. This ability hasn't been nerfed, I think. And the fifth ability is the Crumbling Foundation. What's interesting with this mechanic is that it's not a hard mechanic, as it's just ticking damage, but the Crumbling Foundation will do more and more damage as you destroy more and more pillars. So basically, you need to be aware of the fact that people will get more and more murdered by the Crumbling Foundation, because this is what will make the fight harder if it gets longer. Now let's get into the walkthrough. What I want to make sure you understand on this fight is the sequence of the boss. He will do the same cast sequence all the time, with one difference. When no pillar has been broken yet, he won't do the first Seismic Shift. You will see it, I will show it to you, I will make sure you understand that it's this one. But after the first pillar got broken, you will get the same sequence in between the pillars all the time. So here we go. First ability, Colossal Roar. Here you see the casts, that's a channel. He does the roar, then chain link. Here is the difference. During this chain link, you don't get a Seismic Shift. It will be the case in between the pillars. Here you don't get it. You just get the link. So you place yourself with your friend, or not your friend, whatever, you need to do it anyway, and then seismic shift. Here it was my friend, actually. Then seismic shift, you get the chain slam. After the chain slam, you get a roar. Here I'm going to go backward a bit, just to show you how we handle the chain slam. This is the same every chain slam. We handle it this way. So look at the red frames. Shield will appear suddenly. And here we go. You see the shields. The shields are basically for the colossal roar. That's the main thing. But as you can see, you doubled it with the chain slam to make sure all other healers are able to heal the dot of the chain slam. Even if it got nerfed, I want to make sure you are aware of the fact that the people who are getting slammed will get a dot. You need to keep them up because the roar could kill them. Although the nerf was really hard, this was like 35%, I believe. But still, you will need to heal them. So here, chain slam, then roar. You get seismic shift into destructive impact. Destructive impact is the gaze. That's the same thing. It's just the gaze. The gaze is the ability the boss is casting. The destructive impact is the fact that the pillar got broke. And sequence starts again. We got the roar. We get the link with the seismic shift this time. We get the link, then we get another seismic shift. After the seismic shift, this will be a chain slam. Seismic shift, and then chain slam. That's the same sequence. Here, as you can see, once again, big shields, chain slam, roar, and then we get seismic shift again. Here I'm going to go on the backyard. That's not something you are supposed to do because as you can see, I don't have my tanks in range anymore. Why did I do that? I did that because we weren't really good on damage. This was still tight, and our tanks was completely fine. I was amongst a lot of DPS, and I'd rather myself go away to make sure they do full damage instead of me staying in the middle, forcing one of them to move, or even 2 or 3, just to get tanks in range that doesn't even need my help. It wouldn't make sense. So I just go away, and as the destructive impact is the ability right after this shift, anyway, I get the tank back in my range. But if you do that, you need to be knowing what you do. Here, as you can see, second pillar, I don't really do damage to the boss, even though I should be, because we were out of the barrier. So we get the roar, we get the link and the seismic shift, then we will get the second seismic shift. Yeah, you just do healing. What's really important here, as you can see, is that we have 2 stacks of the Crumbling Foundation. We'll get 1 for each pillar break, which will increase by an absurd amount the amount of damage the red is taking. As you can see, we got the chain slam roar, and this time people lost health, which wasn't the case previously, thanks to the spiritual. That's just because the spiritual get swallowed by the Crumbling Foundation. Here, third destructive impact. We fully heal this one because we didn't have the massive Dior the raid cooldown. So we just completely heal, make sure everyone is healthy for the roar. And here we get the roar. then seismic shift, chain, then seismic shift again, and we will get chain slam after. Seismic shift and chain slam. Chain slam on Bonner, we suicide him. So here is a bit of a difference from what you can do. Here we suicide them just because the third stack of Crumbling Foundation is ticking very hard and we don't want to double it with the dots from the chain. So basically we make Shadow Priests, which are our lowest DPS on the fight, baiting the chain. They get the chain, we bop their partner, the partner breaks the chains. As the chain is physical, they don't die, but the priest dies. And then we get them back up. That's just to avoid entirely the mechanic. By killing the guy, you don't give that much energy to the boss. He get the energy from killing one guy, basically, instead of killing two. And here we go, the third shift, which means destructive impact. We place ourselves, will be my link here. We get the fourth stacks of the Crumbling Foundation, which means full heal. I think I don't even deal damage anymore here. I was at 25% mana when we get the impact. I still have my mana pot, which is a good thing. For instance, I didn't use any innervate on this fight. That was the case for Bazooka, I think. He had one. Doesn't really matter. As you can see, we went through the fight anyway, but yeah, it's better, I think, to give it to the priests. Here we suicide again, the chain slam, we res him. Unfortunately, he reses into a Crumbling Foundation, which kills him instantly again. So we dealt with it with 19 people. Although, here I want to keep your attention on what I did, which was here. The thing appears. The boy won't go in the back. I'll go with him and then I force him to cross. That's very important. I force him to cross. Then I go in the pool for the seismic shift. It's just for me to don't move that much right before we put the boss into the wall, because I want to have as many people top life as I can. And if I have to move, it won't happen. So I'll force my GPS to move. Just because I know he won't move if I don't force him to do so. So here it is. You understood the fight. The sequence is always the same. Roar, shift, shift, chain slam, roar, shift, impact. That's all it is for a healer. You will have to get to your link, of course, during the first shift, but that's for every player, not only you. Don't get out of range of your tanks. And about the cooldowns, what's important to understand is Spirit Shell is the most powerful cooldown against the combo Chain Slam Roar, for a simple reason. It makes you not have to care about the roar at all, so you just need to keep alive the Chain Slams. It just makes the mechanic easier, because that's the combination of the two mechanics that makes it hard, and not the chain slam by itself. So that's it for this boss. Just heal very high, use your cooldown on purpose. You can use the Totemic Revival if you lack cooldown. Don't use it just for the sake of it, just because you're so high in content player. Use it. It's a shitty talent. You use it only to counteract a lack of cooldown. If you don't have a lack of cooldown, you don't need to pick this talent. So don't do it if you don't need it. And apart from that, you will see the fight is way easier than it looks like. It's just intense. That's very, very intensive. Thank you everyone for watching this video. I hope it will help you get this boss down. If you enjoyed it, like the video. If you want more, subscribe. You can reach out to me on my Twitch channel at Ariana_live. The link is in the description. Do never forget, the wind doesn't kill people, only slacking does.